Okay.
Okay, so this is my pitch for my project proposals. Okay, so these are the key things that I'm going to be looking into when creating my project. So what my project is about. So I'm creating a magazine based on upcoming models, so a boy and a girl that I'm going to mainly be focusing on, as well as writing an article on not just how to become a model, but like when you begin in this kind of industry, what to look out for, like red flags, etc. And I'll also be doing an article on mental health because it's seen as a taboo that not many people speak about, as well as an interview with an agent from the modelling agency Storm and her opinion on the industry. It's going to be roughly 10 to 12 pages long, including the front and back cover. I've decided to not only focus on the fashion side, but mainly this time focus more on photography, so creating photos instead of adverts for my magazine. My target audience, I've done 16 to 26 year olds. It is quite a large sort of gap between the both ages, but I feel like now in the society that we are, including social media, this is the kind of the age range that people are more focused on the modelling and fashion side. I'll also be using my magazine to target agencies and modelling agencies that they can come and view upcoming models. So every time a new magazine is developed, new models will be put in the magazine and they can kind of get advertisement from the modelling so they can hire them themselves. Within my magazine, I will be directing the photographs, I'll be taking the photographs, creating a magazine, but I will be using Lucy, the agent from Storm, and two models, Oscar and Mahalia, who I'll be writing the articles on, and then Evie and a couple other people to just do photographs to add into the magazine. The equipment that I'll be needing is a camera to take pictures, a laptop, obviously to do my research with and to take notes when doing an interview, and the software such as Lightroom to edit my pictures, as well as Photoshop and then InDesign to create the overall magazine. What do I want my viewer to think? When they finish my magazine, I want them to have a different understanding and a view on fashion and modelling, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays view modelling as quite an easy-going job that you can get quick and easy money, and I want to not be able to, I want them to see the taboo on specific things such as mental health and women and race within this industry, and it's not as easy as it makes it out to be, it's a lot harder. Some issues that I might face is pictures that I take won't come out as I envision, so I might not get the right shot, lighting might be wrong that day and I have to redo the pictures and wait for the correct lighting. My models or the person I'm interviewing might not turn up, so I have to sort of find another day to arrange. Times might be different between our schedules, etc. And to finish my project on time and stick to my timeline that you'll see later. So there's two types of research I'm going to do. So my primary research is my interviewing, so I get a different perspective through a first-hand person within the industry, as well as speaking to both models that I'm talking about. My secondary research is retrieving information from online articles that have been either interviewed or written themselves by models and designers, and also be highlighting specific events and fashion shows that have been made to highlight the problems that are occurring, such as double blind. My target audience, so I've already created a questionnaire that I'm going to be handing out to specific people in this age group that I've highlighted already. Again, you'll see this later on. That's my primary research, and my secondary research is I'll be speaking about, as I explained before, events and movements that have already occurred within the industry to combat the stigmas that exist. So the skills that I need is to be able to use a camera, using the right settings. I'll also be able to need to understand how to edit pictures and then transfer them onto InDesign, and again create the magazine in InDesign. These are all softwares that I've previously used, so I'm quite comfortable with them. My aim of the magazine, which I touched on before, is to open the eye of the viewer and how they view modelling. I want it to not only be a photographic magazine, but I want it to be educational as well. So where there's hidden secrets in the modelling world that you don't generally see as the public, because you just see sort of the final outcome, you you know, the things that go wrong when creating this photo that they need to overcome, etc. I want to be able to highlight that. I want to have a raw and untouched look when it comes to my magazine. So not only is the information raw and untouched, you get to see sort of the non-sugar-coated stuff per se. Also the photos that I'll be creating, I don't want it to be heavily edited or heavily filtered. I kind of want it to have more of like a Polaroid kind of effect, which I'll be able to show you later on as well. I've also covered codes and conventions for my magazine. When creating codes and conventions, every sort of company follows the basics. So for example, a front cover, you always have a barcode at the front because advertisement tends to be at the back. You have a centre model for the image. There tends to be a colour theme with the masthead and the picture, and then you've got a large sans serif title. The inside pages, there tends to be a contents page, columned articles instead of just one big sort of long page sentence. You get columns and then you get borders of the same size and imaging adverts. So I recently bought a magazine called Dazed, which I'm going to take most of my inspiration from. These pages within the magazine, I like the layout as well. So the front cover, I like how big the title is. And again, if you look quite closely, it is sort of a Polaroid filter on top of it, and the model herself isn't wearing too much makeup. Then the inside pages, again, these two pages over here is what I'm going to tend to be looking for, so replacing adverts with just single shots that I've taken myself. Articles such as this one, which again, they're columns, you get to see a picture of who I'm talking about as well as writing, and these are the kind of similar styles I'm going to be going for. For my title, I've tried to find the most close related fonts to the one Dazed has used. So on the left hand side you see more of a thinner typeface, and if this is stretched along the page it will come out as thinner and slimmer than this one, which is more bold, and it will take up less space just because of how close the letters are. This is a questionnaire I've made. Again, this is going to go out to my target audience age range, and they will just help me find out what sort of typeface and font that they think is closely related to the one on this, and I will then use this as target audience research. This is a mood board. As you can see, these are all images I've taken, not just from Dazed, but these are Dazed front covers. This is the type of picture editing I hope to achieve. I want the pictures to come, I don't want the models wearing too much makeup. I want sort of the colours to stand out, but also I want it to look quite natural, again, as I said, raw and untouched. This is my timeline I've created, so I'm going to try my best to stick to it. I feel like this will help me achieve the goals. Everything in red I've already done, and some more which I haven't done in red yet. Yeah, that's finished.
Okay. Any questions for Libby?
Yeah.
You said you wanted to touch on mental health in the industry. Is it taboo? What do you mean by that?
So when I say mental health is taboo, a lot of people tend to want to ignore the fact that people are suffering from mental health, eating disorders, because it's seen as, well, you're so lucky to be in the position you are. Why do you feel the need to complain? And a lot of designers and art, like fashion people within that aren't models, they tend to ignore it and just say like pick yourself up, just go walk that catwalk or take a couple shots. Like they forget that people are actually hurting because there's like competition, there's jealousy within models that affects their mental health. Yeah.
How are you going to publicise your magazine, like get your target audience, or attract your target audience?
Again, I haven't really thought about this too much, but when completing the magazine, I'm going to be putting it on social media. Again, specific audiences that already I'm engaged with are within that target audience. I'll hand out the magazine also to people of the same age range and then get their opinions on it as well.
So is it free?
Yeah.
So, okay.
What other magazines have inspired your...
The actual context of my magazine, I actually haven't found anything the same as, but when creating it and the design of it, definitely Dazed.
Are there any others that have like particularly inspired the style?
There's one called Hunger, which is most similar to Days, which is sort of the same photo editing as well. Just the context and what I'm writing about, nothing. It's just what I'm interested in. Yeah.
Are you going to have an online one as well, or is it just going to be print?
Yeah, but one's going to be online, one's going to be print. So because I feel like when you print it out, it might not come out the same when doing an online version, so I can get best of both worlds.
How many models will you be using? Just one?
Currently, I've got one model for my front and back cover, and then I've got the 2 models that I'm talking about, and then 3 more girls that have taken photos already.
All different races, or just?
Yeah, so it varies. There's not one specific race.
Do you have any male models?
Yeah, there's one male model I'm going to actually write an article about, because I feel like it's important to get an opinion of a male and a female, because I feel like they both have completely 2 different experiences. Also, race will be spoken about as well, because I feel like that's important.